Ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the fireside chat on financing the missing infrastructure, building India's assistive technology ecosystem. And this is essentially the centerpiece of this year's ceremony. Just to give context to what this chat is going to revolve around, India has the legal mandate, the innovation capacity, and the market potential to lead the world in affordable assistive technology. Yet, fewer than 1 in 10 people who need it can actually get it. So, our next session brings together STPI, Emphasis, and NCPEDP to ask what it will take to move assistive technology from a one-time welfare handout to essential national infrastructure. For this, I'm going to invite on stage our moderator. Moderating the discussion is Mr. Pradeep Gupta, Chairperson NCPDEP and Chairman Cyber Media Group. Sir, if I can have you on stage with me, can we please extend a round of applause as we welcome Sir once again on the stage. For the session, he will be joined by Shri Arvind Kumar, Director General, Software Technology Parks of India, also our guest of honor this afternoon. Once again, sir, welcome to the stage. And Ms. Deepa Nagraj, Senior Vice President and Head, Sparkle Innovation Ecosystem and Communications Emphasis, will also be joining us for the fireside chat. With that, I hand over the stage to our moderator and our panelists.
Okay, so, building India's assistive technology ecosystem. So, I think that is what we are supposed to talk about in the next half an hour. But what really is the ecosystem right now, and what really ails the present ecosystem? I think when Piyush was talking about the IIT Delhi products that have come out, and he talked about the cane having sold in 15 different countries, and I think the number was 1 lakh pieces was the number that was talked about. The question that comes up is that, in India, if you look at the actual users for that sort of a technology, it would be 100 times that. Okay. And therefore, why is it that only 1% of the people who actually need a cane have not gone in for the cane? And I think the problem today with the entire ecosystem is that it is a subsidy-led model. What typically happens for any kind of an assistive device or any kind of an assistive service is that the beneficiaries are all looking at handout. Therefore, the two routes through which most of these products actually reach the beneficiaries is either through a CSR, which is done by various corporates, or somebody says, okay, fine, let me go ahead and give 200 wheelchairs to such and such area, or through various government schemes that come up. And in that government schemes, again, it is essentially the subsidy model which comes up. And I think what needs to change on that is that we need to create a market-led ecosystem. So the ecosystem today is not really market-led, it is subsidy-led. And how do we transform this? So, let's spend the next few minutes in discussing this. Deepa, would you like to sort of, this background that I have provided, would you like to add to the present model, and how do you think it should evolve?
Thank you. And once again, congratulations to all the winners today. This is absolutely well-deserved, so congratulations. The assistive technology market, like I previously said, if it is about 10 billion by 2030, this includes a whole spectrum of different kinds of maybe plugins, devices, so on and so forth. while we take these for granted in urban scenarios, how do you kind of ensure that it reaches the last mile? How do you ensure that it reaches everybody? And also we're able to scale this, right? One of the things that we spoke about is while Emphasis as an organization has been supporting it for 16 years, the question that we asked was, so what? So what if we're supporting this for 16 years? What is coming out of this? Where are all these design elements? Where are all these structural changes being stored? If any of us are looking for a product, we go into marketplaces to look at that. Is there a marketplace that has been created for assistive technologies? The answer was no. There are smaller pockets, but it's not institutionalized, and it is not in one place where you can find that, both as a user as well as somebody who's developing that. Why would I have to reinvent the wheel when somebody has done that already? Is there a startup? Is there an upstart who's done that? And is there a larger organization who can help recreate or produce it at scale? Right? What is the IP around each of this? What are the usabilities for each of these? Right? These were fundamental questions that we went back and we asked. And from the whiteboard discussion, we realized that what we need today is an assistive technology hub that will bring all of this together in one place. Tomorrow we're celebrating 80 years of independence. What does 80 years of independence mean to people with disabilities? What does it mean for their family and friends? Are they truly independent? Is there something that technology can do to be the leveler? And if yes, how can we do that at scale? So that was a project that we've initiated. And I'd welcome all of you to look at the Assistive Technology Hub. And also once the physical center is there, experience it and talk about it. We don't want this to be the best kept secret. The more you're able to educate people, the more people are able to leverage this platform, we will be successful together as well.
So Arvindji, if you look at the startup ecosystem, and STPI has played a major role in developing the entire ecosystem there. I remember in the 90s when the first startups started coming up, at that time there was no ecosystem. There was, I think, one venture fund that used to be there. There were no angel investing. There were no mentors available. There was no parental support that was available. And even the youngsters didn't want to actually start a ecosystem. But it has completely transformed itself in the next 30 years. And STPI has played a major role from, I would say from in the last 15 years in this entire activity by creating Center of Excellences and so on. So my question is that how did the startup ecosystem get created, and what are the lessons that we can pick up when we talk about creating the ecosystem for the disability network?
Good, thank you, sir. So first of all, I think this is very wonderful program. With the award, we have discussion on such an important topic. So I'm amazed. I think NCPDP is doing one of the best work which can be done in this area. So first of all, I think this assistive technology, we have to understand why this assistive technology today is more talked about. There are 2-3 things. Number one, there is a big gap between need and access. You need more and more in terms of assistive technology devices or R&D on this subject, or even manufacturing on this subject. But we are perhaps very far behind what should we have done so far. But everything has its own time. Today we are thinking in terms of Viksit Bharat by 2047. If just we reached $33 trillion economy or 20,000 per capita income, it is not sufficient, it is not enough unless we are able to have inclusive growth, which means everybody become the part of this growth. I mean, so Viksit Bharat does not mean only numbers. Viksit Bharat means really what we can do in developing countries, which already been done by the developed countries. So really we want to develop countries, then we have to think what kind of the support, what kind of assistive technology they are providing to differently abled person. Every issue has right time. Today I think this AI, which we are supporting 26 center of entrepreneurship across the country on various domains. It could be AR, VR, it could be AI, it could be medtech, which is on health tech, on so many, all technology we are supporting. Now, assistive technology has become one of the very important domain out of them. Because now today we can do what we could not have done 5 years, 6 years back because of this artificial intelligence, which can give personalized devices to the differently abled person, which was not possible maybe 5 years back, 6 years back. And therefore, we have also thought that we should develop assistive technology hubs or center of entrepreneurship. In fact, we are planning one of the center at Prayagraj with help of IIIT and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, which will be fully dedicated. NCPDP is an integral partner to that very initiative. Today, we can think, because every country, every person will have a different issues, and these issues should be solved by our startup ecosystem. We have such an innovative ecosystem in this country. You just tell the problem and there will be some startup who will be able to solve it. This should also be, this thing of India, our country, should also be utilized for the assistive technology. I mean, we have the startup who is just a small guy. They have provided good solution. I think it was in Bhubaneswar, EP Bhubaneswar. And he has provided some good solution for marine surveillance, which he has got the order from the defense and all. So now we have good innovators in our country. Technology is also supported, is in the support of it. And I think this is the right time. We should develop a larger ecosystem in terms of creating multiple center of entrepreneurship across the country, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and do something so that it become, apart from gap between need and access, there is a big gap between cost also. So today, when you do assistive technology or we say something we want to, so it's just become like I am fulfilling one of the responsibilities, CSR. I will provide device to 20 people, I will provide device to 1,000 people, but who will maintain it? So unless this is somebody take a comprehensive view that it is not only responsibility, we have to create a big infrastructure to it. I think government can create the infrastructure. You can't expect private players to create the infrastructure. Like digital public infrastructure has been created. Those who were excluded from the banking systems, today those who are excluded from the technology. So then government has to take the initiative, should create a big infrastructure for this, and then private players can roll on it. They can ride on that. So there is a need to create a big infrastructure in terms of the technology for differently abled person, and then there multiple private players will come and they will ride on that. So to the duty, like government has created digital public infrastructure to include those who has been excluded so far in terms of banking, in terms of payment, in terms of biometrics, so many things. Now similar kind of the infrastructure is required to be created for this very issue, which is on assistive technologies.
Yeah, so, you said Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, that it should be all inclusive, the development which is there. You also said that today all the building blocks are in place, and it is important for the government to sort of create the infrastructure on which different innovation can ride, different initiatives can ride, and so on. It's absolutely great, and it's good to know about the Center of Excellence which is coming up at IIIT, Prayagraj. And I hope that in the next 6 months, I think it should get operational. There has been discussion which has been going on, but it should get operational very, very quickly. But it's interesting that if you look at technologies, take a thing like Flipkart, right, or Amazon. Who should have been the biggest beneficiary of such technologies? The abled or the disabled? Okay. Unfortunately, they did not arise from a need coming from the disabled. They arose from a need coming from all of us, right? If you look at Blinkit, a 10-minute order or a grocery to be ordered for somebody who cannot actually go to a shop is a technology which should actually have stemmed from the needs of the disabled community, where it is not possible for, or it's a great help if their shopping can automatically be done at home. Unfortunately, that in reality has not happened. Of course, on disability assistive technology, what NCPDP started doing with great support coming from Emphasis is that we started looking for startups, and we said, can we support them? And I was very pleasantly surprised when we did the first cohort. In that first cohort, we were really shocked when there were nearly about 100 applications that came, which means that there were 100 startups which actually wanted to do some solution for the disabled. And so we selected, I think 14 or 15 were selected in the first cohort. And so far, the total number of companies that have been supported is 40. So 40 companies have all been given provided a grant, and using that grant, they've developed their prototypes. Some of them have developed MVPs and so on. Glad to share with you that I think at least 10 to 15 companies from that group of 40 today have market-facing products. They have got MVPs that have come out of that entire initiative which was there. The fourth cohort has just now been taken, so I think more and more of that will come out as we proceed. And once a physical hub comes, then that automatically accelerates the entire thing, right? So, Deepa, would you like to add on the assistive technology activities that were taken up? What was the thought behind it, and what really is, in terms of you are also a technology company, so how do you see assistive technology as a driving force?
Thank you. So instead of just calling it assistive technology, I'd probably call it inclusive technology. As a technology service provider, one of the key things that we've always looked at is digital disability compliance. Right? We were born out of banking. Some of our large clients have been bankers, and we started building websites for them and then moved to apps, and now we're creating bots for them. Right? And while we're doing that, we said, can every single technology solution that we're providing be accessible for people with disabilities, be it digital disability, whatever else. Every single communication that goes out from Emphasis, be it email communication or whatever, if there is an image, you will always have mouse over for text and of course for audio, right? How do you ensure this becomes part of your everyday? How do you ensure that this becomes part of your business strategy? Our hiring strategy as well, right? Includes people with disabilities. And we're not just looking at it as a quota system or any of that, but how can this be inclusive, right? And I think it's not just us who are doing this. right? And it's not just social startups who are doing it. So the 40 startups that Pradeep spoke about are not social startups alone. They could be for-profit as well, but they need that extra leg or that little firepower to be able to scale, right? Today, in the audience, you'll see some of them as well, right? So Ankit's here from iSTEM. There is the Asman Foundation. I'm just calling him out because I saw him in the audience. They have a for-profit and not-for-profit arm. What they do is career counseling and educational counseling for tier 2, tier 3 students. Otherwise, typically, if you're in India and they started in Uttar Pradesh, right? It says, beta aapko kya banna hai? They'll say doctor ya engineer. So public servant. They don't know there are options beyond that. It says, and then the question that we ask them is, what are you doing for children with disabilities? How do you ensure they get to a different place, right? It says, how can you make that part of your profit and not for profit arm? So we said, can iSTEM then look at including children with disabilities into their entire career counseling program? We have Lali here from USISPF. So they manage something called the Friends of US in India. The reason why I'm specifically calling that out is any work that you do is not ring-fenced within borders. While CSR funds can be disseminated in India, like the law says, but in the time and age of AI, like you said, there are no borders. Technology is the only thing that can permeate and can be borderless. So if you have US organizations or Indian organizations, and like I mentioned in the past, if there's US technology that can be leveraged in India, why not? Why reinvent that? And we have folks from Gutenberg who are going to tell this story in various different forums and various different geographies, right? We're trying to bring friends and partners together so that they're able to bring in technology where it is needed, not as an afterthought, not as CSR, but as a key business strategy to keep us all going, right? And Assistive Technology Hub is a great start, but it's a start, like we said, it's a journey well begun, and the destination is far from where we are.
So thank you on that. So, now coming to the infrastructure, let's look at two aspects of the purple economy, right? To develop that, one very important thing is that a marketplace should get created, and the other one is financing. So I'll come to financing later in the next round. But let's talk about the marketplace to be created. Now, for instance, the government of India created the GEMS platform, right? Can there be similar platforms that can be created so that disabled products are available in one place, people have information about them, and can be then supported and bought?
I think it's a very good idea. We don't have any exclusive marketplace for such products. If it is created, I think it will be very helpful to anybody who is differently abled. They can not only that they get the product, but how to get it maintained, how to get it repair, how to get a new version of that product. I think this will be very helpful. I think the main thing is that there is a question of mindset. I mean, some mindset has to be changed, that we have to do something. It's not that it's my responsibility, corporate social responsibility, or I'm doing just for the sake of formality that I have to do it, I have to show to society. I mean, we have to cross that threshold. I recall, I think, when I came this is a little different, but when I came, there were more than 50 vacancies, which is reserved for PH, was not fulfilled never. Always keep no suitable candidate found type. And I did 3-4 times recruitment. I think today there may be 1 or 2 vacancies only. So out of 50, maybe 48, I have done it. And I got, this is my experience, personal experience, that I got very good candidate. And one of the candidate, he came from this category. And when I was making head of our Prayagraj center, everybody says, sir, he came from that category. When I say I want to make, sir, he came from that PH category. I said, What kind of the PH he has? He says, sir, he's visually handicapped, came from under BH. I said, so what? What he needs? Is in a bigger screen? Instead of having the small screen of 29 inches, you have the bigger screen. Then he can do everything. I think this is one of the center, which is Prayagraj Center is doing best. Before that, it was neither fully occupied, nor it was getting the revenue. Now it is fully occupied. Everything, because they think that I have to perform better than what every other person is doing. So you can make use of it. They are more creative. So when you take on the board, they become the part of the mainstream. They become the part of your AT hub. They are more empathetic about that we have to do something for our own people. So this mindset in the society is required to be changed. AT hub is not only support the assistive technology for them, but they should also support, if somebody wants to do some innovation of that category, they should be given some different preference also. Unless we get that mindset that has to be changed in everybody's mind, I mean, it's difficult to reach the situation where we want to reach, the target we have fixed. But it is required, it's very much required, today's need of time, that we should change our mindset and we should create a system where everybody is inclusive growth, everybody is treated equally. I mean, that is the need of hour.
So coming to financing, and I think financing is a very, very important topic which is there. And let me start with you this time. We did 2 roundtables, one in Bangalore and one in the STPI office. And we had called a number of VCs, and the first cohort that we had taken, some of those companies actually presented their products also. Now, one of the issues that came from the VCs was that, we are ultimately responsible for our investors, the LPs, who have put in the money in a fund, right? And to them, we have to give them maximum returns. And as far as disability is concerned, we don't think we can have the same sort of returns that are possible with other businesses. And therefore, very little amount of VC money actually comes into the assistive technology startups. How can we change this? I think this is one question which is very, very important. Can there be blended finance, which means that if there is financing which is available, which is part grant, part equity, if those sort of combinations of debts and equity and such like instruments are there, then automatically what it means is that the return for somebody putting in money in equity becomes better, right? They end up de-risking their business. So your views on what could be the innovative ways of financing this entire sector?
So I again, back to our first conversation, when I say infrastructure and riding on it. I mean, unless if you expect private finance people, VCs, angel investor, that they will create infrastructure, then I think it will never happen. Government creates roads, then car was running on that. They will be able to see return, because of course they need return, as you said. That if I am VC, I expect return only, whether you are putting that money in assistive technology or you are putting that money in AI or you are putting in BRR, I don't care. I just need return. So therefore, that means we have to reach a situation where assistive technology can also give the similar return, which is from other technologies also. That means if government create one level of infrastructure from the public funding, and over and above private fund comes. If we can create this kind of either maybe in terms of viability gap funding or maybe PPP model or maybe some other financing model, and for that government should also create, today we have silos of the various ministries. Ministry of Social Justice is doing something else, Telecom is doing something for else. So I think if we can create some policy across the country, I mean, which is cutting across the various ministries, and policies like more on evidence-based policy making, which I say, then perhaps we can get funding from the many sources of the government, and private players also will take interest either in terms of viability gap funding, or they may come also with the PPP model for that sake. Right.
So Deepa, what is the sort of from a corporate viewpoint, what do you think is the kind of a infrastructure, a government infrastructure that you think is necessary for private sector to get activated and large amount of money could possibly start coming in? So this is a generic question, not specific to
Sure.
emphasis.
Sure. So I think the scale of this challenge is also quite humongous. I don't think it is just the private sector or the government sector or anybody else trying to solve for this. Everybody has to do their bit, right from grassroots education to access to public spaces. And some of the things that we're working on as an organization is also inclusive finance, inclusive options for people even at the bottom of the pyramid or disabilities to be able to make financial decisions and choices. So it's there in various different levels. The systemic change, the policy change, all of that cannot be done by just one person, right? We have Anu here from National College of Ireland, who's been working on something with Citibank called the Dragon Challenge, right? Which is to solve for issues that may be there in Europe for Citibank as an organization, or they think is an opportunity. And it's a great example of how students, the community, the tech sector, as well as a bank have come together to be able to solve for something. It could be for profit, not for profit. It could be an incubator setup. Bringing in incubators or bringing in startups or bringing in crowdsourcing solutions for challenges, I think is a great way to be able to leapfrog and accelerate this journey rather than trying to solve everything yourself. Likewise, even the funding doesn't have to be siloed, right? Every penny counts. Most importantly, even people's support to be able to come together and do this. It doesn't really have to be just monetary. If there's a technology, can we have a pilot batch of 100 people who can test that? Can you implement that somewhere else and know that it is good for the market before you're able to scale? Right? So funding, while is one part of it, structurally, the other part is also people coming together to make that successful. There are lots of financial service organizations, there are private equity players, banks, everybody else who may want to fund it if they see that there is a profit at the end of the road. And I think with the scale and the size of the problem, there is going to be returns. They just have to see the roadmap to that.
So I'm told that our time is up. So, let me just conclude. You talked about evidence-based research, and therefore what we did was that NCPDP instituted a study on the entire what needs to be done in terms of financing this missing infrastructure. And as a result of that, we have come out with a white paper, and we have submitted this particular white paper. Some of the suggestions that have come out from that is also the creation of a fund of funds. Fund of funds have been very, very instrumental in directing startups in a specific direction. So I think that is also something that can be done. We will take all these recommendations to the government and look forward to support from the esteemed panel here. Thank you very much for an absolutely wonderful discussion on the purple economy. And we definitely hope that, not 30 years from today, as I was saying about the startup ecosystem, but perhaps 10 years from today, when we are again sitting here, we will say that yes, an ecosystem for assistive technology exists in this country. Thank you very much.